George would be good if he's gonna come in.
How would you choose to what?
Disenchanted?
Kevin had sent me a text that I thought he was going to be here. Let me see. He should be here shortly. Just get started.
Here.
Okay, so this is.
Where'd all this stuff come from? Ready? Yeah. The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order on Tuesday, April 26, 2016 at 6:33 p.m. If everybody will please rise and I'll lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto,
Present.
trustees Jaranowski,
Here.
George Ann Duberstein, Barrett is running late, Hein here, Daly,
Here.
and George Duberstein.
Here.
Okay, we are in quorum, and trustee Barrett had texted me he is on his way here for my business meeting, so we expect him momentarily. If I could have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Jaranowski,
Aye.
George Ann Duberstein, Hein, Daly,
Aye.
and George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Now, with such a crowd out there, I would hope that maybe our clerk got someone who filled out a form that wants to make public comments.
Sadly, no. I don't.
We'll have to have the videos interactive.
That would be outstanding. Okay, so that chance is gone. Omnibus vote agenda, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Jaranowski,
Aye.
George Ann Duberstein, Hein, Daly,
Aye.
and George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. The village engineer is basically reporting at the first meeting of the month, so we'll hear at the May 10th meeting. And actually, we're going to skip over attorney and public works. Terry Brown, are you filling those shoes or?
Mayor, thank you. I will for this evening, and I just wanted to add that you will be, and probably have already seen our trucks and our guys. We are flushing the system, the water system this week. There are signs posted at the entrances to all of the subdivisions. And what this does, of course, is get rid of the deposits that accumulate in the water main, and it also gives us a chance to then check, do some preventive maintenance on the fire hydrants, so we keep those all operational. Thank you.
And we always get rave reviews from our fire hydrants, seriously. Our fire department is always impressed with how well we maintain them. And just for an item of note, Mike DePow, our new public works supervisor, he is on vacation this week. The time we hired him, he already had a vacation planned, and so he will be back next week. Obviously, it's an unpaid vacation, but that was okay with him, and that was okay with us, because we're glad to have him on board. He's off to a great start and continues to work with Terry, and seems to be really geared up for moving into the warm weather season. We have our Deputy Police Chief, Jeff Myra.
I don't have a whole lot for you tonight, Mayor. The village of Grays Lake and Hainesville are on the same board meeting night, so the chief and I are kind of floating back and forth. I'm sure we'll be like
Well,
that.
we're always glad to see you.
Great. The drug take back is Saturday. We will have somebody here, a station here, and we'll have a station in Grays Lake. So any unwanted prescription drugs are welcome at the drug take back. Anything not liquid, not syringe related, we will take syringes as always in the Grays Lake lobby. They have a syringe deposit there. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. You can drop them off in the lobby at any point.
Okay, thanks.
What about the auto panels?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Do you collect unused or outdated supplements as well?
Yes, they will take them.
Okay, our treasurer, Kelly Hensley.
Well, with the new fiscal year just right around the corner, I've updated through the system all the budgeting notes into the budget formulas, so that way for next year forecasting, we'd be able to retrieve those. I also printed off reports that I'll sit down with the mayor, the clerk, Mike DePaul when he's back, and I print off reports of their just budget with all those notes on them, so they can follow it through the year and give some tidbits of the system and that, so that'll happen within this next week. My other items are been continuing on the banking transition. All the accounts have been opened and established. No funds have been transferred yet. I reached out to them. I'm awaiting how to access online. We don't have that capability yet, so until I can get that capability, I don't want to make any transfers of funds because I want to see our money. So once that information is there, we'll start moving forward with that. After I wrap up a couple of small little projects, I'll be starting working on preparing for the audit and making sure all those items are ready. And that's all I have for tonight.
Kelly, you want to update the board a little bit about encumbrances?
Played a little bit over the last 2 weeks. What we're trying to do is, for instance, if we had to do a supply order with Quill, we don't have the invoice yet, but we know we are going to spend X amount of dollars. We're going to take that figure, put it into the new system, and that way, when you can go to that line item, you can hit a button called check budget, and you can see what was budgeted for, how much has been spent, and then an encumbrance amount, an amount that we're obligated to pay for. So you'll have your true snapshot picture. So with the, sitting with the mayor, the clerk, Mike DePaul, I'm going to be going through that at the same time to show up.
In other words, it's like what we have left.
Correct.
Okay.
The bottom line, not encumbrance. The encumbrance would be what we have not been invoiced yet for.
But
It's paid, haven't been invoiced, but we know we're going to be obligated to spend those funds. But there's another item underneath there that'll basically show you your net, your available balance.
Okay.
Kelly's been working on this, we've been talking about it for months, but she's been working on it for the last couple of weeks. It's not operational. The system is operational, but we're not certain of the procedure that requires it will save us work or time. So she's playing with it with in a few of the accounts to see if it's worthwhile. The goal is worthwhile.
It sounds worthwhile.
But if we have to make, if it doubles the number of entries you have to make, just roughly speaking, I don't know if we need time efficient. So
Honestly, looking at it, I've performed like 2 encumbrances, and I was going to look back tomorrow at it. To do an encumbrance entry in the system, you have to make a journal entry. And in that journal entry, I type up certain notes in there saying what this is for, that we don't have the invoice yet, the dates and that. So that'll sit there in the system and hold that amount for me. Once we get the invoice done, well, Roseanne enters the invoice, but there's just another button that we hit and says this has an encumbrance entry already, and we want to basically wash that entry out. So the additional work is that manual journal entry that I perform at the beginning of it. I think from going through those 2, like I said, I think I have a few more that I can do tomorrow to play, and then once the invoices come in, I don't think it's going to add that much additional time for the outcome of what we want. We really truly want to see our best bottom dollar of what we have available. So I think that's going to outweigh it at this point.
Okay, good, thank you. Any other questions before we move on? Madam Clerk?
Okay, Deputy Clerk Roseanne Stark and I have been trying to wrap up business licenses. We ran into a problem with our system that doesn't connect to our application, business license application. It's missing information. So I'm working with Adam on that from BSNA, doing my everyday job duties, and that's it.
Okay. right, we'll move on to the mayor's report. At the recent April 14th SWAPO board meeting, the SWAPO board did vote to reverse its decision to close down the 5 remaining electronic collection sites effective May 1st, 2016. This was due to a concern voiced by various members of the lack of recycling options for the residents and what that would lead to. So it spurred over 15 Lake County units of government to donate a total of approximately $62,000 needed to keep the program running through the end of the calendar year. The Village of Grays Lake was the leader in this role by starting the discussion and donating $20,000. Now, at the member meeting, there was many towns such as Hainesville where I had said, we are not in a position to donate funds for this type of effort. I did state that possibly we could be supportive in other ways, and I asked all the members to consider, we're still only operating with 5 sites, and it is quite a burden on those 5 sites. Our closest site is Grays Lake. So, should we consider, I'm going to throw it out there for you to think of, we don't have to answer it tonight, should we offer assistance to the Grays Lake site during this summer season by sending somebody over there for a few hours, 2 to 3 hours per week, just simply to help with the sorting? So that spurred a good discussion through the communities in trying to help those 5 sites. But everybody has to remain diligent with talking to our reps in Springfield and getting attention on this matter. Also, the joint municipal meetings that I had announced recently, we've now had several meetings, and that is a joint meeting between Hainesville, Grays Lake, Round Lake Park, Volo, and Lakemore. And we're working on 2 things. One is a collaborative effort of coming up with a plan for our combined improvements that we would like to see on the existing Route 120. So today we did have a rough sketch of a plan come that we all, as representatives from our communities, got to draw on. That's going back to the engineers to be enhanced, and we hope by the next meeting or maybe 2 meetings out, we'll have a final plan that we can forward to county, state, and federal levels of government. Because whether Route 53 gets built or not, the improvements we all know on 120 have to take place regardless. So we think that by us pursuing that together makes a world of difference. I have been repeatedly told in past years, oh, don't be worried about that. The work we're doing east of you or west of you will offset it. Well, if we're all there together, united, saying we know what we need, we know what's going down at that section of the road, it just, I think, is a lot more meaningful. We're also waiting for maps from CMAP to help our group move forward with going back to the Route 53 land use corridor plan and start identifying the environmental issues. So we had hoped to start that at the meeting we had today, but we're still waiting for the maps from CMAP. So we meet again in May, and hopefully that work will begin. Also, going back to our new budget year starting next week, I know we had to make cuts in a lot of areas, but I also think we have very good reason to remain positive overall. I think our board and staff does a great job. We've accomplished good things, and we have some good projects still taking place this year. So let's put our efforts in there, and we'll hope that Illinois will get settled sooner than later. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but there's some notes I put on the tornado recovery. It's very easy for some of us to forget what the tornado caused in this village with the damage it did. We're thankful nobody got hurt, that more buildings weren't destroyed, but we lost an incredible amount of trees and bushes and other kinds of disruption to our woodlands and wetlands. Most notably Cranberry Lake, but it also occurred in other areas. And so we spent a good portion of August 2nd to winter moving in, doing nothing but storm recovery. But now the warm weather's coming in again, and we are going to finish up the remaining efforts. So a lot of residents don't understand that, and they have to be patient and understand we will get, for example, the woodland that's to the north of Avon Ball Field, we're doing cleanup work in there. So we'll get that ugly debris out of there, and it will look better soon. The other thing to keep in mind, when we took out our ash trees last year, we had every intention of planting the new trees in the fall. That, again, all got delayed. So this year is year 4 of our 5-year Emerald Ash Plan removal. We will take out 60-some more trees, but we're only replacing the trees that got taken out last year. And the replacement of the trees that get taken out this year will get pushed to the following year. So just want to note that. If you get inquiries from your neighbors, we will put this out in newsletters. Also, had a meeting last Friday with Mike DePau, trustee George Duberstein, and Dave Coulter, and we walked the Tall Oak Conservancy easements, again, for the purpose of doing assessment of what that tornado did to those easements that we had just finished planting seed and planting trees and bushes in, and now we have to go back and repair that area. So that assessment was done. Dave Coulter will be providing us with a write-up, and we'll have a letter go out to those residents shortly to tell them what the plan is and what the timeline will be. Let's see. I also just want to commend also George and Georgianne for their efforts with the recent cleanup. I know you're going to talk about that in your report, but thank you. We're also thankful to Dawn Grant for having the Relay for Life collection truck. Unfortunately, we had to leave at noon, but we had that on site in front of the Public Works building on Saturday. And then in closing, but very exciting, last Thursday, I was invited to lunch. The CEO of Robinson Engineering had contacted me through Steve Zahner, our village engineer. I had not yet met the CEO, and he wanted to meet with me to say thank you for Hainesville choosing them to be our new engineer and take us into the future with Route 53 and other challenges coming down the pike. And he also brought along the business development manager, and so I met them in Wakanda on Thursday afternoon for a nice luncheon, and I'm excited about what Robinson brings to the table with municipal engineering, and they have a grant writing department that's kind of exciting, and while grants aren't plentiful, they are out there, and so they do pay attention, they read them, so they're going to be bringing some things to the table that we might be able to pursue through grants. In closing, before we move on, kudos to George again with his efforts of sponsorship collection on the Civil War. With his mailing, we've had some donations come in early, and George, I have word of actually a donation that we'll get in June. The Grays Lake Chamber is going to donate $500, so that's very exciting.
Come after May 1st, we'll get a really big donation from the sports club.
Excellent. So we're moving along.
They should donate early and often.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so Great Age Club or any other general announcements?
Thank you, Mayor, for the comment about the cleanup. The other trustee Duberstein will talk about that in detail, but it was a very successful Saturday, even the weather cooperated. As far as the Great Age Club is concerned, we are not having a meeting on May 5th because a group of us are going to a play in Skokie. So we are not going to have the meetings since we figure we can talk enough when we're together. I think that's all for now.
Any other general announcements? Okay, we'll move on to business. First first item up is a resolution of the trustees of the Village of Hainesville to appoint representative to the Northwest Lake County Wholesale Technical and Advisory Committees.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Who are we appointing?
Steve Zahner.
Okay.
So I attend the advisory committee, executive is, and Steve would be my alternate, and then the technical advisory is Steve Zahner, with Mike Powers as alternate.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Trustees Dernoski,
Aye.
George Jan Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Daly. George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried. Resolution R16-4-96.
Item 2 is the long-awaited, I think we put a lot of work into this, so hopefully that means it's a real good document. Approval of the revised Village of Hainesville Personnel Manual dated 4/22/16.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Dernoski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next item up is the approval of the Bartels Landscape Service contract from April 25th. Well, I guess we'll say April 26th, since we're voting on it today, through November 10th, in the amount of $16,023. And I would like to add, the question was raised, and it's a good question, is, while we've certainly been pleased with Bartels, the question was, did we go out for bid or RFPs this year? And with the changeover in leadership with Public Works and Mike being new, we decided we can only take on so many new things. So we thought that we should stay with Bartels for this season. And then as Mike gets a feel for the village and what it's like for the summer season, for next year, we certainly will go out for bid or RFPs. And Mike will head that up. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Dernoski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, item 4 is the approval of the Lake County Division of Transportation bid with Compass Minerals American Inc. This is our bulk salt purchase. We did a joint bid through the county in the amount of $17,905.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Dernoski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, since we recently changed banks with State Banks of Lakes, this is a resolution approving the safety deposit box agreement with the yearly fee waived with State Bank of the Lakes.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Dernoski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried. Resolution R16-4-97.
Okay, you may recall at the last board meeting, we did a possession of cannabis ordinance, and then the chief found an issue with part of the language. So this is, again, we're amending the ordinance section 9.24040 of the village code governing possession of cannabis in the village of Hainesville.
So moved.
Roll call.
Trustees Dernoski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried. Ordinance number 16-4-223.
Okay, can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the regular board meeting adjourned at 6:54. And I'd like to keep going, and we'll move over into the Hainesville Committee of the Whole meeting will now come to order on Tuesday, April 26, 2016 at 6:54 and a half, 6:53, whatever you want to call it, Madam Clerk. Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto.
Still here.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Here.
Georgiane Duberstein. Here. Barrett.
Here.
Hine. Here. Daly.
Here.
And George Duberstein.
Here, George said he's here.
Okay.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
Shut up and dance.
Okay, do we have a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And a motion for the omnibus vote agenda.
So moved.
Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgiane Duberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Hine. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, we will move on to starting with, first up is Public Works Trustee George Duberstein.
Okay, I have two items. One deals with an update on the Civil War reenactment program. And the second is after action report on our cleanup on Saturday. With regard to the Civil War thing, on the 14th of this month, I met with representatives of, again, with the Northbrook Sports Club and the military, as well as civilian reenactors at the event site, so we could kind of determine where everything was going to go. And we had some challenges that we were able to deal with. I won't go bore you with the details. It looked like we may be able to get use of one of their covered facilities so we can do two things with it. One, have the dance, Saturday night dance inside, and also a place where we can set up tables and chairs for people to eat when they get stuff for the vendors. And we're looking at, as far as food vendors go, we're really going to go with probably one food vendor, which is the big vendor that usually handles the events at the Northbrook Sports Club. In fact, they have an event that weekend at the southern part of the sports club, and this vendor is going to be handling that as well. But they don't see any problem with it. And they can deal with all of our needs. We were looking at the funnel cake lady, but apparently this vendor handles funnel cakes as well. And the other vendor that we were looking at went out of business, so I think we'll be all right with this particular vendor. And they're familiar with the site. And the same with the porta potties. Apparently, the group that services the Northbrook Sports Club, who will also be out there that weekend, is very familiar with the terrain and the turf and what they have to do, so we'll probably wind up seeing if we can go with that as well. All the reps decided it was a good idea to have this American cricket event there as well. Apparently, during the Civil War, an American version of cricket was popular at the time, so we're going to have that kind of event as well. And I need to get together now with the cricket guy and the mayor of the civilian people to locate where we're going to have this thing on the site.
George, are you going to look for volunteers to play, or?
Yes.
So it's not just the settlers?
No, anybody can do that, and it will be in the program, and everybody will know where it is and what it is, and he will look for volunteers to include, visitors to the site that can play.
So George, are you going to educate us on cricket over the summer?
Well, he's a cricket master, so he will take care of that on site.
Oh, okay. All right, I don't know if there was any preliminary education you might need.
He could come and report.
Yeah.
Mosquito will be.
Don't crickets come under the wetland committee?
Yeah, but the subject of mosquitoes did come up. We're having to pursue that a little further. Yeah, right. We did have to move one of the venues from one field to another because there were too many cow pies in there. We didn't want the reenactors falling on their face. And on another note, the donations are coming in, as you may have mentioned, so I'm very encouraged by what we've seen so far and some of the things that we hope to get, because we sent out quite a number of letters to a lot of people, so I think we should be in pretty good shape financially.
Is the gun range going to be open for operation?
Jerry, talk into the microphone, please.
Is the gun range going to be open during our event?
Yes, they have an event on the southern part of the range at the same time, which is one of the reasons we can't use some of the facilities. But the range is such that none of the shot will interfere with what we're doing.
Won't hit any of the shoulders and soldiers?
No.
The last question, since they're having an event, is parking going to be an issue?
No, because we have already arranged with the school. Prairie View Middle School for their parking. We're also talking with Rousseau, and then we have, as a backup, the Public Works parking and also the parking at the Village Hall. We'll have a shuttle bus to get people from the parking to the event site. So parking will not be a problem. So that concludes that issue, unless anybody has any questions.
Did they plan this, this other event before?
Oh, yeah, it was a long-standing event.
Maybe we should have picked a different weekend.
No, we went round and round on various different dates, and there are all kinds of, again, I won't bore you with the details, but there were a lot of different considerations in terms of whether the competition we had, the heat of the summer and the wool uniforms these people have to wear, and what was going to be available for everybody. So we looked at that, but it's not going to be a
It
problem.
wasn't feasible. I don't think it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Besides, their guns are real. Ours
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, right. All right, moving on to the after-action report of the thing this weekend. I sent an after-action report to the mayor and clerk, so I have a copy of it for the board to look at, but I'll just highlight for the viewing audience what we accomplished. Georgianne kind of set this whole thing up and made all the context, so she laid a lot of the groundwork. And at the day of, I kind of managed the event while Georgianne was picking up garbage.
Good job.
We took about 30 big bags, 42-gallon bags full of garbage and debris. Georgianne was concerned if we made mention of that this indicates that we're a dirty village, but actually,
Not anymore.
not anymore, right?
And not after the amount of windstorms and everything.
Yeah,
we had this
no,
year.
as was pointed out, especially on a garbage day and the wind being what it is, debris will go around, but Terry assures me that his staff will be out there looking at some, but we made a big dent in what was around there. I had the people go to several different places. We did both sides of Hainesville Road from Washington to 120. We did both sides of 120 from the railroad tracks to the end of the village boundary. We did 134 on both sides up to the area beyond where the vacant lots are. We did the back of the great village, the Hainesville Meadow, which is right out here. And there seems like there's a dumping ground because the backyards of many of the houses on Centennial back right up to that, and they just kind of throw stuff over the wall. So that was another area. And then, of course, we had people going around the lake, the pathway on Cranberry Lake. And so we got, as I said, 30 bags worth. We had, I didn't realize, or I forgot that Dave Schultz was going to come by and pick a lot of the garbage up. So I shoveled a lot of the bags during the event, and we filled up one dumpster completely and 2/3 of another dumpster with the debris. We had about 17 people there. They included members of the honor societies from Grace Lake Central, Carmel High School, and also Round Lake High School. And we also had a number of residents helping us out as well. There was an effort over at Antler Park, and I went over there to check it out, found out that the individual who lives right across the street had already done that and kind of looks after that, so that's a good thing, and I thank him very much for his support. We will give certificates of appreciation to the people that, or at least the people that participated, and we're going to give 3 hours of community service credit to the students that participated, so it was a kind of win-win situation. And you can read the rest of the stuff that.
And I want to add one other name of things. I know you mentioned on Deerview for Antler Park wetland, the wetland that's to the south, that's the Swearingen family, Rick Swearingen.
Okay.
But also Renee Keefe, who lives in Misty Hill on Misty Hill Lane, she had contacted the village and picked up some bags that week right before. So she did some cleanup that Friday and I think on Saturday, but I don't think she ever came over. So I just want to acknowledge that, you know, we have residents out there that, you know, back up to wetlands or live across from them and they're trying to help us out. So I just want to keep mentioning, yes, let us know. We'll try to get crews out there as soon as we can, but we are also willing to give you bags if you're willing to have a family event or a team event, you know, to clean up at various times of the year.
So I just want to say in closing, I thank everybody for their support and help. It was a great event, and we had a little pizza for everybody after the show.
Very nice.
One more thing, I contacted the Daily Herald and the Lake County Journal because George took pictures of the people doing the cleanup, and so we submitted them to the paper along with the little articles. So I'm not sure when it's going to get in. Should be soon in the Daily Herald, and it's not going to be this Thursday in the Journal because of the forefront thing. But the following week in the Journal, there should be something.
Wonderful.
Can you send me the pictures?
Yeah, I think I sent some pictures to
Yes.
Yeah.
Clark, Kathy, and so maybe you.
I can just forward them to John.
Well, my only point there was that we were going to put it on the website.
Oh, we will be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I can put it also on
But
Facebook.
he
yeah.
wants something to put on Facebook. So
And
she can, yeah.
when the articles come out, just let me know so I can repost those on our Facebook site too. Because those are the things that get a lot of traffic to us.
Oh, I just thought I would mention, since Georgianne mentioned forefront, that our mayor is getting an award for community service and above and beyond at the Friday breakfast, and I want to commend you for your activities.
Well, thank you. And thank you to Georgianne who nominated me for the humbling honor, and I'm anxious to see what you wrote.
You think?
Kathy, I'll get the names, the correct spelling on some of the names that were illegible. I contacted the advisor.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
And that's all I have at the moment.
Okay, well, thank you, George. Next up is Wetlands, Open Spaces, and Woodlands, trustees Georgie and Gooberstein.
The progress report from the wetland committee is as follows. The March through April, they continue to do the projects that were listed in the 5-year plan for this first year. They removed some invasive trees and shrubs from Ridley Park and from the south of Hunter's Way. I've mentioned at the last town meeting that we had the students planting oak trees to replace the ones that were destroyed in Cranberry Lake. And I think they've begun the cleanup and removal of the storm damaged debris in the baseball woods. I'm not sure, I think they've just begun.
I think they've just begun.
Just begun.
Literally just begun.
I asked them to do a status report on the trees and shrubs that we put in along 120 at Deer Point. And at this point, the report is that all the trees that were installed are alive. Roughly 2/3 of the smaller shrubs we planted are alive, but because of the time of year and the temperature, we're going to wait and see if the other ones come through before we do anything about it.
Anything else or any questions for Georgie? Okay, next up is Community Relations, trustee John Garanowski.
So I am very happy to report our Facebook page is getting a lot of views. Some days as many as 100, depending on the content that we're posting. So that's why I mentioned articles. Anytime there's an article about us or anything that we're doing, please send it. Please just let me know. Send me an email. Be like, hey, this got written up. The WRLR got 50 views for it. So I have on there the events for the blood drive. I have the Civil War reenactment on there. Anytime that there's pictures taken, please send the thing to copy me on them too now, so I can also put those in. Because the more we post, the more views we're going to get, and the more people are going to be able to see what we're doing. Facebook is completely free, so it's a really great social networking site for people to see what's going on in the village. It's probably a little bit more exciting than watching our meetings on YouTube.
That is just hard to believe.
But we are getting a lot of traffic on there. And surprisingly enough, at very different times, we have people viewing the page from 2 o'clock in the morning all the way to 8 o'clock at night. And 8 o'clock at night seems to be our biggest hit when we get people to check out the page. So from now on, when I start posting like events and things like that, I'm going to try to start scheduling them to post at that time so that we can get the most visibility for our events. It's on the Facebook page.
John, I'm totally ignorant about Facebook.
Oh, I thought you were
And
saying
any other
something.
thing. Can you place links on our Facebook page?
Yeah. So when I post the YouTube videos, what I do is I take the link for the YouTube and put it right on the Facebook page so that people can see that it's there. Same thing for Georgiana just mentioned to me a Daily Herald article about the storm recovery and the tree planting. All I have to do is take the link from the article, plop it into Facebook and it auto-populates everything with the little teaser title for the article, and I can make a comment on there.
Here's what I was thinking, I don't know if it's feasible, so I'll ask. You know, we're going into a new budget year, obviously we have a new budget. Can you put a link that will take you to the budget on our homepage
Yeah,
with just a little, it's the new budget, here it is? It says
Yeah.
you'll get more views on that way, or may get more views that way than we would just of people coming to our website.
yeah, sure. That's easy.
I'm gonna click here, pay your utility bill, get right to the link.
Sure, and I can schedule these posts out so that, because obviously you don't want to post, like have a big, massive dump of posts. So what I've been doing is I've been scheduling them to kind of auto post like a week apart or a couple days apart, so that things get,
You know,
so that things have a chance to be seen rather than having a whole dump of
Yeah.
Right.
And I
everything
was-
that's happening in the village of Hainesville all at once, and people will miss it.
I wasn't thinking this has to be something that has to be out there frequently, but just a couple
Yeah.
times somewhere along the road.
No, and actually usually throughout the meeting now, I'm taking like notes as to what I want to put on there. So like this will go recycling throughout the year, Emerald Dashboard could be a post. I want to get the taking the drug back up tomorrow, just so that becomes on there. Get the event scheduled on there. You know, if it attracts 4 or 5 more people, that's 4 or 5 more people that
Yeah, it's very worthwhile.
it's already, the garage sale's already on the schedule, it's already on the page, so you can see when that is. Yeah. And YouTube still a little strong, about 6 or 7 people view the meeting, and I'm happy to do it for those people. Because 6 or 7 more people that can get involved in what we do here, so. And that is all I have.
John, would you be able to tell if people are watching the meetings on the Facebook post when you do it? You can't tell what people are really watching to see if more people view it there.
I can see the people who click on the link, and then on the YouTube, I can see not specific people, like, so please, it's not, it's, I can't see your homes, like, it's, but I can see, like, if they click on how long they watch for, what an average is. Like, I couldn't see, like, Dina Hine watched for
But you would
6 or
know,
7 minutes.
you would know, did they go through Facebook versus our website?
Uh-huh.
You would, okay.
I would know if they went through, if the difference, there's a difference between Google, Facebook, direct search, directly going to YouTube and typing in Hainesville IL. I can tell all that. Yeah, it's really amazing what you can see. And depending on how much people share on their profiles, I can tell demographics and everything else. Like, 18 to 24-year-olds are watching 10 minutes versus 67 to 57-year-olds are watching for 45 minutes.
Do we have any record of periodically of what some of these statistics are, so we can get an idea of
I can go back on YouTube and there's a dashboard that I can pull up any month to month, week to week.
Facebook, you just started, so we wouldn't have.
Facebook, I can, yeah, but I still have enough,
You can do it
there's still
monthly?
enough data
Yeah,
that I can see. Like, I can tell each post how many people interact with it. So some posts get, like I said, 100 views, some get 4.
so would it, how time consuming would it be to do a monthly report on that stuff?
I can do that.
Yeah, that would be interesting to follow.
Yeah.
Can you tell whether it's a local view or a remote view from another village or another state or?
YouTube I can. YouTube I can see where they're coming, well, technically it's where the IP is coming from. Somebody, and I won't get too technical, but
Yeah.
somebody with a virtual private network could be saying that they're coming from Japan, but in reality it's, it's your next door neighbor.
Right.
Routing their signal from somewhere
Your
else.
Secret
But-
Service next door.
So far, we're doing real good in those audio.
But we get hits some
Which
interesting
is
places.
because the country doesn't exist
But yeah, at the time she did. They, yeah, we can see where people come from. But again, we can't see like specifics, like, but we can see where they're reporting that they're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for John? Okay, we're gonna move on to finance and human resources, trustee Jerry Daly.
Since everybody else has taken so long, I have nothing. No, really, Kelly's covered everything we've been doing, so nothing else to pass on.
Okay. Economic development, Kevin, I'm not gonna put you on the spot too much. We know you've been traveling a lot and have had quite a schedule.
I've also stopped and talked to Linda DeBruin a couple of times, and she's still not quite ready to finish up her whole project for the business directory, so
Okay, all right.
I have been in her a couple of times because I've had stuff to send out, so
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Public safety, trustee Dina Hyde.
I just have a couple of things. Deputy Chief Myra was kind enough to give me some pamphlets and information for a couple of different things, gun safety,